Okay, so good afternoon, class, and welcome to your financial accounting and reporting class. So today, we'll cover accounting cycle of a merchandising business. No? So when we say merchandising, these are businesses that's engaged in buy and sell. No? So today, when we cover accounting cycle of a merchandising business, our learning objectives are as follows. No? So we'll look at the preparation of statement of cost of goods sold and gross profit and complete the accounting cycle of a merchandising business. No? So going back to the definition of merchandising business, let me just it is a merchandising business is one that buys and sells goods in their original form without any further processing. Those goods are referred to as merchandise inventory or simply inventory. So previously we discussed about the accounting cycle for of a service business. No? So right now we're moving to the merchandising business. The only difference here is that for a merchandising business, we're dealing with merchandise or simply inventory in their original form. No? So meaning we don't need to do any further processing to sell it, no? So, ano bang good example nito? O balik na lang ulit tayo sa mga JanSport bags, no? So, once that JanSport bags andito na si mga resellers, so those resellers are actually engaged in a merchandising business, no? So, iba kasi yung usapan pag if we're going to talk about how they manufacture the JanSport bags, no? So that's part of the uh, manufacturing setup, no? So in this time we're in merchandising business. Usually ito yung sari-sari store, grocery items, or ito yung mga ready-to-wear goods, no? So, s- so under the merchandising business, we have two different inventory systems. So number one, perpetual inventory system. Under this system, the inventory account is updated each time a purchase or sale is made. Thus, the inventory account shows a continuing or running balance of the goods on hand. Anong ibig sabihin nito, class? Under perpetual, kaya perpetual, continuous, no? Under perpetual inventory system, every time that we sell or purchase inventory, we record those transactions as a debit or a credit to inventory. No? On the other hand, we have this periodic inventory system. And under this system, the inventory account is updated only when a physical count is performed. Thus, the amount of inventory and cost of goods sold are determined only periodically. No? So usually, class, periodic inventory system, we usually do this on a month end. No? Kung napapansin nyo, if you're going to, for example, in SM, no? May mga nakalagay na tag or in SM or in Mercury Drugstore or in Watson. Kung napapansin niyo doon sa mga shelves nila, at month end, they put a note, no? Like ang naalala ko, nakita ko doon already counted, parang gano'n, no? So that kasi they split the counting because it's actual count, no? So you have to count it one by one. So kung halimbawa, ilan ang natira, no? So let's say we're talking about medicines na lang, no? So stress tabs. So ilan yung natirang stress tabs sa shelves? So so that's the question, no? So now it the responsibility is being divided amongst the accounting staff, no? So kung ilan yung accounting staff, sila yung nagka-count, no? So therefore, putting a note like that will just tell them na okay na to, nabilang na to, no? So ang naging experience ko nito was way back when during my first job, no? So yung first job ko kasi was with Sanyo Denki. Pero yung Sanyo Denki class, it's a a manufacturing business, no? But we're still following periodic inventory system, no? So, anong nangyayari? At year end, imagine, sa dami ng spare parts to manufacture a cooling fan, yung cooling fan doon sa computer or sa personal computer natin, no? Lahat 'yon isa-isa, we have to count it, no? Eh, during periodic inventory system, it's actually 100% count, no? So imagine the time that we devote to just complete that activity, no? And it's happening real time. The operations will have to stop so that we can complete our uh, we can complete, saglit lang Ito class, kailangan ko i-mute kasi talaga I'm using this. So every noise na naririnig ko diretso sa tenga ko, no? Okay, so going back to periodic inventory system. So like I said, at year end, it actually happens periodically, no? Ang sinasabi ko lang at year end, we have to do this in order for us to complete our year-end reporting, no? So come year-end, ang nangyayari nga at that time we stop the operation so that we can count all the inventory, no? So up to the last piece. So meron kami ngayon diyan inventory checklist, no? So isa-isa meron kami niyan. Ang matindi pa nito, we have to sample check the work of the other of our peers, no? So for example na lang, sige, sino example ko? For example, si Russell, si Quitzel, si Athena. Oh, so lahat sila tatlo nagbibilang. Ngayon si Russell would have to check the work of Athena, pero hindi lahat, no? Kung ano yung na-assign sa kanya, Russell will just sample check, no? So ngayon from there, malalaman natin kung accurate ba yung bilang ni Athena. Okay? So those are just some examples on how to go about this physical inventory count under the periodic inventory system. Okay, so let's now look at how we are going to calculate cost of goods sold under the periodic inventory system. So we have your beginning inventory, add net purchases. So makukuha mo dyan is total goods available for sale or TGAS, less ending inventory based on physical count to arrive to the cost of goods sold. Now, in order for us to compute for our net purchases, kaya nga class net, no? So, ibig sabihin, you have reduced it. You have deducted something from it, no? So, you have your gross purchase or simply purchase. Add freight in, less purchase returns, less purchase discounts, and you'll get your net purchases. So, don't worry class, no? So, later on, uh, we'll look at different discussion problems so that we can apply these concepts that I'm discussing right now. So what are the different accounts used under periodic system? Purchases, this is the account that we use to record purchases of inventory under the periodic system. So kanina ni-introduce natin to, di ba? So obviously, we have to use different accounts in order for us to come up with this report. So ito na nga yun. Freight in or transportation in. This is the account that we use to record the shipping costs incurred on purchases of inventory under the periodic system. Purchase returns. So this is the account that we use to record returns of purchased goods to the supplier. So for example, bumili tayo ng 10 ready-to-wear na damit. So ang order natin is sabihin mo na lang lahat 10 ang size dapat small. May dumating na 2 medium. Obviously, we have to return that. So we use purchase returns to account for those returns of purchased goods Purchase discount. This is the count that we use to record cash discounts availed of on the purchase goods. So paano nangyayari ang purchase discounts? For example, bulk sales, no? So sabi sa ni seller, or if you buy 20 shirts, I'll just give it to you for the price of 19. No? So meron kang discount for one t-shirt. Okay? And those discounts will have to be accounted for under the purchase discount account. Another example, sabihin na lang natin that you purchase those shirts on account. So ibig sabihin, inutang mo, no? Sabi ni seller, o sige, if you're able to pay me within 10 days, then I'll give you 2% discount. So instead of paying for the whole price, 98% na lang ang kailangan mo bayaran. So that 2% will have to be accounted for as purchase discount. Okay. Now let's try to differentiate these two inventory systems, no? Kasi both of them are applicable, and at the same time, at the end of the reporting period, you'll still get the same cost of goods sold, no? Meron lang ibang treatment, no? So let's have perpetual inventory system. All increases and decreases in inventory are recorded in the inventory account. On the other hand, under the periodic system, increases and decreases in inventory during the period are recorded in the purchases, freight in, purchase returns, and purchase discounts as appropriate. So ito yung mga na-discuss natin earlier. Under the perpetual system, cost of goods sold is debited when inventory is sold and credited for sales returns. And under the periodic system, cost of goods sold is not recorded. O bakit hindi ulit recorded, class? Kasi nga, under the periodic system, we can calculate it based on this format. No? So beginning inventory, add net purchases. So we get the total goods available for sale less any ending inventory based on the physical count. No? So we do not record cost of goods sold under the periodic inventory system. Unlike in perpetual system, we use it to record the inventory sold. Okay. Perpetual system physical count is performed only to check the accuracy of the ledger balances. No? So paano ibig sabihin yan, class? Sige, we record inventory, we record when we sold, no? When we sold inventory, we record cost of goods sold, no? So sabi natin, at the end of the reporting period, meron ka mga balance ngayon sa inventory. Now, if we'd like that to verify that the balances in your inventory accounts are accurate, then we do physical count. Under periodic system, physical count is necessary to determine the balances of inventory on hand and cost of goods sold. So meaning, this is regularly done under the periodic system. Under perpetual system, it doesn't require the use of any formula to determine cost of goods sold because the information is readily available from the ledger. Kasi nga, sabi natin, every time na may bibenta tayo, we use the cost of goods sold account. In periodic system, it requires the use of the following formula. So ito, repetitive na to. But pansinin, this time we use acronyms. No? So the reason being, kasi nga naman, every time that we encounter this and we encounter problem on this, no, instead of writing down beginning inventory, why not just use BI? Total goods available for sale. Also yan, TGAS, ending inventory, and COGS. No? Kasi nga naman, di ba, especially in my class, no, most of or all of my quizzes are in multiple choice type of question. So therefore, I don't actually need um, solutions like this, no? But then, ang palagi kong sinasabi, if you write your solutions legibly, chances are, kasi 'di ba nga sabi natin madalas sa accounting, isang problem pero 5 ang questions. Pagdating sa fifth question, it's related to the first one. If you didn't write your solutions legibly, at least yung kaya mo lang maintindihan. Hindi mo na kailangang intindihin kung kaya ba maintindihan ng katabi mo yung sulat mo, no? So, ah, so long as you can understand yung sinulat mo, okay ka na, no? And make it a habit also during review, no? To write down formula. Kasi nga, sabi ko sa inyo, every time you write, 20% of it gets retained to your brain, no? Sige. So gross profit, again, net sales less cost of goods sold is equals to your gross profit. Napag-usapan natin kanina how to compute for the cost of goods sold. Mamaya mas maiintindihan pa lalo 'yan pag nandoon na tayo sa mga sample problems. Let's look at the statement of cost of goods sold or simply your profit and loss, no? Pansinin, we have net sales less cost of goods sold and we get gross profit. And then from there, if we reduce and deduct all these expenses, no? So rent expense, depreciation expense, salary expense, and etc., then we can compute for our profit or our net profit. So this is just basic P&L, no? Actually, as you go along, mas magiging comprehensive pa to, no? So at this stage, you're on your first year, all you have to do to understand is the basics. Pansinin ulit dito, net sales. So obviously, if it's a net sales, then something must have been deducted from it. Kaya nga net, di ba? So, kaya ayan. So, we have gross sales, less sales returns. So, sales returns ulit. Ito naman, no? On the side naman na we are the seller, no? So, say for example, uh, we're a bookstore. So, meron tayong accounting books na binebenta. So, for sales returns, so baka ito yung mga either rejects, nasira sa delivery, or nagkamali tayo ng deliver. Sales discounts, again, uh, for bulk sales, for volume sales, we offer discount or to encourage our customers to pay ahead of the due date, then we offer sales discounts. No? So all of this need to be deducted from our gross sales in order for us to get our net sales. Okay? Oh, so yun pa. Sales include both cash sales and credit sales. So yun, anong ibig sabihin nun? Cash sales, so these are the sales uh, that we made out of cash, no? Pag credit sales naman, so on account. Sales returns, again, these are the account used to goods sold but were returned by the customer. Sales discount, the account used to record cash discounts given to and taken by customers. Sige, let's do this one more time. Statement of cost of goods sold and gross profit. No? Again, we have your sales, and in this case, this is net sales. So if the problem provides for gross sales, then look for sales return or sales discount. You have to reduce that in order for us to get the net sales. Okay, so cost of goods sold naman, paano ulit mag-compute nun? So we have beginning inventory plus net purchases. Again, class net purchases. So ibig sabihin may binawas na. In order for us to get the net purchases, so we have your gross purchase, less purchase returns, less purchase discount. So there, no, you can calculate for your net purchases. Add the 2, that would be your total goods available for sale. Ito naman, very self-explanatory. Total goods available for sale. Meron kang beginning inventory plus yung mga binili mo this period. So ito yung pwede mong maibenta, no? So this is the available inventory for sale, or simply total goods available for sale. Less ending inventory. So these are the inventory left. So that's your cost of goods sold. Sales, again, net sales less cost of goods sold, we can now derive our gross profit. O tandaan na, this is just a statement of COGS and gross profit. Wala pa dito yung expenses, no? So we'll look at this step by step, no? So puntahan lang muna natin yung basic. So sales less cost of sales or cost of goods sold, you'll get gross profit. And then, paano nga ulit mag-compute ng cost of goods sold? So, beginning inventory plus purchases. Again, it's net purchases. Add the 2, you can compute for your total goods available for sale less ending inventory. So, you can now compute for your cost of goods sold. Okay, so before we proceed with I think I've prepared 5 discussion problems, no? So let's pause for a 5-minute break, stretching muna, tapos we'll come back after 5 minutes. Okay, so let's continue our discussion. Now let's go to the different discussion problems. Okay, so class, for this type of problems at saka dun sa mga previous problems that we've taken up, my approach is to always look at the requirements first. Kasi nga, ito, basic, no? So maiksi yung mga problems. But then there are chances that we will encounter lengthy problems, no? But then konti lang pala yung hinihingi or very specific lang pala yung hinihingi, no? So for problem 1, what are the requirements? Number 1, or letter A, provide the journal entries under the perpetual inventory system and periodic inventory system respectively. So we're going to prepare journal entries for all these 5 transactions. Letter B, compute the cost of goods sold under each of the inventory system. The physical count of inventory reveals an ending inventory balance of 21,000 pesos. So let's have problem number 1. Okay, so I hope kita yung screen ko ng maayos. So let's have kung tama lang yung kanina. Okay. So let's do the journal entry side by side. No? So we have perpetual system and then periodic system. So perpetual system, the entity A had the following transactions during the period. Number 1, purchase goods worth 90,000 on account. So sabi natin, it's debit inventory, credit accounts payable under the perpetual system. Ulitin natin, no? Sabi kanina sa theory, under perpetual system, every time we purchase or sale, every time that we purchase and consequently sell any of our inventory, we have to make a uh, an entry against the inventory account, no? So yun yung gagawin nating application for perpetual system. Now, on the other hand, for periodic system, pansinin that the debit was a debit to purchases for 90,000 and credit accounts payable. Under the periodic system, ito class pinuulit-ulit na lang natin, no, para at least mas ma-absorb. Under the periodic system, we're calculating for our purchases, net purchases, no, in order for us to calculate cost of goods sold later on. Okay? Oops, hindi pa naka-on ng... Next, paid transportation costs of 7,000 on the purchase above. No? So ito pala, in this case, we're also going to pay for the shipment or the shipping fee. No? So hindi siya free shipping. So the entry is debit inventory under the perpetual system, debit inventory 7,000 and credit cash 7,000. Under the periodic system naman, it's freight in, debit 7,000 and then credit cash for 7,000. So, okay pa tayo dyan? Number 3, returned damaged goods worth 2,000 pesos to the supplier. So, remember, nung bumili tayo, our original entry under the perpetual system is a debit to inventory 90,000 and credit to accounts payable 90,000. This time, meron tayong return, no? So ibabalik natin dahil daw damage, no? So debit accounts payable, we have to reduce our accounts payable 2,000 debit. Also, we have to reduce our inventory. So that's credit inventory for 2,000 pesos. On the other hand, under periodic system, pansinin, the entry is debit accounts payable 2,000, just the same. No? So we reduced our accounts payable, but then the credit was put under purchase returns for 2,000. Next, sold goods costing 80,000 for 132,000. O, pansinin na, nagbenta tayo. So under the perpetual system, debit accounts receivable 132,000 and credit sales for 132,000. This entry will be the same under both perpetual and periodic system. So parehas tayo ng entry. Pero pansinin, under the perpetual system, meron pa tayong isang entry. Meron pa tayong isang entry under the perpetual system. It's debit cost of goods sold and credit inventory. Pero for how much? Pansinin, sold goods costing 80,000 for 132,000. So binenta natin for 132,000 but the cost of the inventory is 80,000 pesos. And sabi natin under the perpetual system, every time we sell inventory, we have to record it against cost of goods sold, no? So therefore, debit cost of goods sold for 80,000 and credit inventory 80,000. Sa periodic system, we don't record this entry. Kasi nga, ano nga ulit ang sagot? Under the periodic system, we have the means to calculate for our cost of goods sold, no? So yun yung pro forma template natin kanina, 'di ba? Sabi natin net sales less cost of sales or cost of goods sold. Paano ulit makukuha yung cost of goods sold? So meron kang beginning inventory plus purchases, dapat net purchases to get your total goods available for sale, less any ending inventory based on physical count to arrive to your cost of goods sold. Number 5, a customer returned goods with sales price of 9,000 and cost of 6,000. So we have to make an entry for the return, no? So debit sales returns 9,000, credit accounts receivable, no? So we have to reduce our accounts receivable by the amount of returns. It's also the same under the periodic system, no? Pansinin, under the perpetual system, since meron tayong return, we have to also uh, post an entry, no, to record that, no. Debit inventory, dahil nga binalik sa atin, so we have to increase our inventory for 6,000 pesos. Pansinin, the credit was made to the cost of goods sold account for 6,000. Kasi nga kanina, nung nagbenta tayo, pansinin, when we sell the inventory, nung nagbenta tayo, the entry made was a debit to cost of goods sold and credit to inventory. So therefore, we have to reverse that, no? Every time there is a customer return. Okay, so yan lang naman ang naiba dyan. So, again, under the periodic system, we don't need to make an entry for the returns. No? I mean, we don't need to make an entry against cost of goods sold kasi nga under the periodic system, we have the means to calculate for the cost of goods sold. Okay, so drag ko lang muna to. Oops. Uy. So meron na tayong entries. Tignan ngayon natin yung uh, requirement B. Requirement B, compute for the cost of goods sold under each of the inventory systems. The physical count of the inventory reveals an ending inventory balance of 21,000. Alisin ko lang muna to para at least kita pa rin, no? So in this case, unahin natin si perpetual system, no? So obviously, the best way to handle the perpetual inventory cost of goods sold is by way of a T account, no? So meron kang cost of goods sold. Let's look at the entries. Saan at kailan ba nagkaroon tayo ng posting sa cost of goods sold, no? So we have a debit here, 80,000. So that's the 80,000 over here. So yan. Next, sales returns. So ayun, meron tayo dito 6,000 returns. So yun lang. So pag naitama mo yung journal entries mo, okay ka na dito, no? Pero obviously, during examinations, if the problem didn't require you to prepare the journal entries, huwag na i-prepare to class. Diretso ka na sa T account. Kasi alam mo naman yung mga transactions that will impact your cost of goods sold under the perpetual inventory system. Ulitin natin, what are the transactions that have impact to your cost of goods sold? Una, pag nagbenta. Pangalawa, pag meron kang sales return. Okay? Now, let's look at the, ano ba yun? Let's look at the periodic inventory system, no? So how are we going to compute for our cost of goods sold, no? So meron ba tayong beginning inventory? There's no mention in the problem, no? So okay na tayo dyan. Do we have purchases? Kasi di ba ang formula natin is beginning inventory plus purchases. Meron ba tayong purchases? Yes, 90,000. Freight in, meron ulit, 7,000. Purchase returns, yes, meron tayo for 2,000 pesos. Do we have purchase discount? None. No? Pero pansinin, just the same, nilagay pa rin natin siya so that maging familiar ka dun sa template. So again, in order for you to calculate for your purchases, net purchases, so you have your purchases or gross purchases, less purchase returns, and then less purchase discount. Add any shipping fee or for transportation in or freight in. Okay, so our total net purchases would be 95,000. O, kung ang beginning inventory mo is 0, beginning inventory plus net purchases would be 95,000. Ano nga ulit yun? That's total goods available for sale. Pansinin that in the problem, it's also mentioned here that the physical count of inventory reveals that an ending inventory balance of 21,000. So that's 95,000 total goods available for sale, less ending inventory based on physical count. That's 21,000. So the total cost of goods sold is 74,000. Okay, so pansinin class that the total cost of goods sold under the perpetual inventory system and the cost of goods sold under periodic inventory system, they are equal. No? So parehas siya. Iba lang yung manner of computation. Iba lang din yung manner of entries posted. Okay, so let's have another problem. So ganun ulit, requirements for problem number 2, provide the journal entries under the perpetual inventory system and periodic inventory system respectively. Compute the cost of goods sold under each of the inventory systems, and the physical count of inventory reveals a balance of 44,600. Basically, these are the same, no? Peaceful Morning Company had a beginning inventory of 6,200. So ito pala nag-iba. Sa problem 1, we don't have information as to the beginning inventory balance. So this time we have. So the following transactions occurred during the period. Number 1, purchase goods worth 120,000 on account. 2, pay transportation costs of 12,000 on the purchase above. Number 3, return damaged goods worth 2,400 to the supplier. Number 4, sold goods costing 98,400, 447,600 on account. And then number 5, a customer returned goods with sale price of 10,800 and cost of 7,200. That's a problem number 2. So, isa-isa ulit natin. Let's go over the journal entries. No? So, number 1, purchase goods worth 120,000. So, debit inventory, credit accounts payable for 120,000. Sa periodic system, it's debit purchases and credit accounts payable for 120,000. No? So, at this stage, class, no? So, I hope it's clear now the difference between perpetual system and periodic system, periodic inventory system, no? So but just the same, ulitin na lang ulit natin, no? Under the perpetual system again, every time that we purchase and sell, we have to use the inventory account, no? On the other hand, under the periodic system, no, so we can, in order for us to calculate our cost of goods sold, then we have to post it to the appropriate accounts, no? So we have purchases, freight in, purchase discount, purchase returns. So let's have transaction number 2. Paid transportation cost of 12,000 on the purchase above. So that's debit inventory, 12,000, and credit cash. No? Under the periodic system, it's debit freight in, 12,000, and then credit cash for 12,000. Number 3, returned damaged goods worth 2,400 to the supplier. No? So, dahil nag-return, so under the perpetual system, we have to reverse, no, the original entry up to the amount of the return, no. So in this case 2,400 lang. So debit accounts payable, credit inventory for 2,400. Under the periodic system, so just the same, no, we have to reduce our accounts payable for 2,400. So debit accounts payable. But this time, Instead of using purchases, we use purchase returns for 2,400 credit. Number 4, sold goods costing 98,400 for 147,600. No? So, let's have the entry for sales first. No? So, nagbenta daw tayo on account. So, debit accounts receivable and credit sales for 147,600. Pansinin that this is the same no? In both perpetual and periodic inventory systems. Under the perpetual system, hindi pa to natatapos yung entry. Because under the perpetual system, we also have to record the cost of goods sold. No? How depending on the cost of the inventory that we sold. No? So in this case, the amount is 98,400. So debit cost of goods sold 98,400 and credit inventory 98,400. Again, under the periodic system, there will be no entry required. Bakit ulit? No? Kasi under the periodic system, we can compute for our cost of goods sold. Okay, number 5. A customer returned goods with sale price of 10,800 and cost of 7,200. So nagbenta tayo, pero may binalik. Bakit kaya binalik? So baka may damage ulit. No? So debit sales returns 10,800 and credit accounts receivable. So this entry will be the same for or under the periodic system. No? Now, under the perpetual system, we also need to record, no? We also need to reduce the cost of goods sold, no? Basically, we're reversing the impact, no? So that's debit inventory kasi nga bumalik sa atin, we have to increase our inventory 7,200. And then credit cost of goods sold for 7,200. So mag-T account tayo ulit. Under the perpetual inventory system, requirement B is asking us to compute for the cost of goods sold under each of the inventory system. Physical count of inventory reveals a balance of 44,600 in ending inventory. O sige, pag-usapan natin to. Let's look at perpetual inventory first. No? So sabi natin, cost of goods sold, the account, ano yung mga transactions that will impact your cost of goods sold. Meron ka una yung number 4, this is the sales. So that's 98,400 debit. Nagbabago yung kulay dito. And then transaction 5 on the returns naman, so that's 7,200. So 98,400 less 7,200, we have 91,200. This is our cost of goods sold under the perpetual inventory system. Now, under the periodic inventory system, so we have the template, no? We have the pro forma statement, no? So we have beginning inventory. This time it's given, it's 6,200. Purchases, 120,000. This is from transaction 1. Add freight in of 12,000. Less purchase returns, of 2,400. We don't have any information as to the purchase discount. So, kunin lang natin yan. Our total net purchases would be 129,600. Now, for us to compute for the total goods available for sale, so all we have to do is add beginning inventory and the net purchases. No? So, kunin natin yung dalawa so we can compute 135,800. This is our total goods available for sale. Also in the problem, given yung ending inventory. So our ending inventory is 44,600. So 135,800 less the ending inventory. So we can get 91,200. This is our cost of goods sold. So, dalawang problem na tayo class, same approach. Ganito lang naman talaga yan, no? So you just have to be familiar on how to compute for your cost of goods sold, especially under the periodic inventory system. Pero ang palagi lang tatandaan, under perpetual inventory system, kailan ba may impact sa cost of goods sold? So there are only two scenarios, no? So number one, every time that you make a sale. No? So pag nagbenta ka, you have to record cost of goods sold equivalent to the cost of inventory that you sold. No? Now, another item would be in relation to the sales returns. So you also have to reduce your cost of goods sold. Let's look at problem number 3. So in problem number 3, the requirement only is to prepare the statement of cost of goods sold and gross profit for the period. So basic, no? So nagawa na natin yung problems 1 and 2. So we started with the entries, tapos we calculated for the cost of goods sold, no? This time, ang binigay sa atin yung mga items or items that we can pull together to come up with the statement of cost of goods sold and gross profit for the period. No? So let me read the problem. Entity A's records show the following information on December 31, 20X. So we have sales 230,000, sales discount 7,000, sales returns 15,000, inventory beginning 22, inventory end 28. We have purchases 120, freight in 5,000, purchase discounts 3,000, and then purchase returns 2,000. No? So ito, kung kanina after completing 2 problems, medyo naging familiar ka na dun sa format on how to compute for the cost of goods sold, mas magiging madali na sa atin tong problem number 3. So let's have problem number 3. Okay, so for problem number 3, we have to compute for our net sales muna. So how much is our sales? Given 230,000. Let's reduce it by the amount of sales discount, that's 7,000, less sales returns of 15,000. So just get the sum. Makukuha mo ngayon 208,000. This is your total net sales. Kasi pansinin, di ba? It's net sales less cost of goods sold is equals to your gross profit. Now, let's go to cost of goods sold. Paano ulit mag-compute ng cost of goods sold? So, ganun pa rin. We have your beginning inventory, 22,000 given. Plus purchases. So, we have 120,000. Pero, naalala mo na under, in computing for your purchases, it has to be net purchases, no? So, ito kasi diniretso na natin, no? So, instead of calculating the net purchases first, ginawa na natin in one go, no? So, meron tayong purchases dyan na 120,000 plus freight in 5,000 less purchase discount of 3,000 less purchase returns of 2,000. No? So just get the sum. Makukuha mo ngayon 142,000. Ano to? This is the total goods available for sale. Less ending inventory, given then 28,000. So meron na tayo ngayon cost of goods sold na 114,000. Balikan ulit natin yung formula natin. Net sales less cost of goods sold equals gross profit. So we have net sales of 208,000 less cost of goods sold 114,000. Therefore, our gross profit is 94,000 pesos. O, sige, take time to absorb that. Ano bang pwedeng tips pa? I think you just need to be familiar with this. No? Ang suggestion ko is every time that you solve problems on cost of goods sold, you have to write this down. Para at least during the midterm exam, hindi mo na kailangan isultang buo yan. No? Just do the acronym. Again, so long as you can understand your writing. Okay? Ano ba kasi pwedeng mangyari dito, class? No? So, possible kasi, given si total goods available for sale. Ito na, bibigyan ko kayo ng mga tips. Ah, baka kasi ang mangyari is sanay tayo mag-compute from top to bottom. Tapos ang ginawa ni problem, o sige, binigay sa'yo yung ending inventory, binigay sa'yo yung cost of goods sold, ang hindi binigay total goods available for sale. So you just need to make sure that you know how to play with the formula. You have to work back in order for you to compute for the total goods available for sale. So familiarity lang talaga dun sa template. So that's problem number 3. Problem number 4, I think this is the same. Problem number 4, prepare the statement of cost of goods sold and gross profit for the period. Entity B, records show the following information on December 31, 20 X1. We have sales 320, sales discount 10, sales returns 8, inventory beginning 27, inventory end 32. We have purchases of 145, freight in 7,000, purchase discount 4,000, and purchase returns 3,000. Ito, class, siguro naman at this stage, more or less familiar na kayo dun sa pag-compute ng statement of cost of goods sold, pag-prepare ng statement of cost of goods sold. No? So let's do another problem. So, unahin na natin yung net sales. Gawin natin, let's do this piece by piece. No? So net sales, we have gross sales of 320,000. Let's reduce it by the amount of sales discount. That's 10,000. And then sales returns of 8,000. No? So just get the sum. Ang makukuha mo 302,000. This is your net sales. Next, for the cost of goods sold, we have beginning inventory. It's given 27,000. Purchases of 145,000. Freight in 7,000. Purchase discount, that's minus 4,000, also given. And then purchase returns of minus 3,000. Get the sum, ang makukuha mo is 172,000. Ito, class, ulitin ko lang, that in this format, ang ginawa is in one formula, but basically it's beginning inventory plus net purchases. No? Ito kasing portion na to, this represent your net purchases. No? So ito. So kung gagawin natin yan based dun sa discussion natin earlier, this will be 145,000 plus 27,000 beginning balance. No? So adding the two, you'll get total goods available for sale for 172,000. Okay, so ending inventory also given, that's minus 32,000. No? So ngayon, makukompute natin yung total goods, total cost of goods sold. Alisin ko to para hindi nakakalito. So total cost of goods sold is 140,000. Ayusin ko lang din to. Tsaka to. Okay. So 302,000 less 140, we get gross profit of 162,000 pesos. Okay, so that's actually the last problem, no? So let me just stop sharing.